Welcome everybody to season 3, episode 13 of The Movement.
The Movement.
We usually have everyone that's on the team saying it, but Yusuf's here. There you go. There you go. We're officially live again. This is season 3, episode 13 of The Movement podcast. Today we're gonna talk all about college life and even shooting a documentary. Looking forward to hearing what our guests have to say. I first of all want to introduce everyone who is in the building, starting off with the guy in the back doing the ones and twos. Shout out to my nephew Ramsey, always on top of things, so we appreciate him. Ramsey, give yourself a round of applause, man, because you deserve it.
Basketball,
coming off a victory in is it a first JVU in basketball so far this year? I think they're 1 and 2. So shout out to Dearborn High's JV basketball team. The varsity won that day too, I'm assuming so. Yeah, they look good, the varsity team too. So shout out to Ramsey, and then we're going to go from right to left. Our first guest of today is Atia, rocking that Detroit Lion blue. She's in the building. She's definitely ready to go. One of the people who shot the documentary. We're going to talk a little bit about it more. And of course, Yusuf caught on with the blue thing.
Oh, yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? He got the memo. Shout out to Yusuf, rocking Lions blue.
Go Lions.
Yeah, shout out to little big bro, Yusuf Dabe. Of course, you got myself, Omar T. And then to the left of me, we got Moussa. Moussa's in the building. I want to make sure he did residency in their class where they shot the documentary. So shout out to Moussa, looking like he's ready to give us the best speeches in the world. So I'm looking forward. He was already starting before the show. Yeah. So we had to tell him, yo, we got to save some of this.
I didn't get the memo, though, for the
blue. Yeah, I mean, I tried, I tried to do navy blue. But yeah, we have to make sure we send that memo out to everyone when we do that. And then to the left of him, we have Ava, who is also one of the people who shot the documentary. Shooters, I guess you could call them, directors, whatever, producers, everything else in between. So shout out to these ladies and also Moussa for coming today. They are our guests. We're looking forward to the conversation. Like I said, it's all about college life and also shooting a documentary. So we're going to talk about everything in between. But before we dive into that, be sure to follow us on all of our socials. You have YouTube, Oz Media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under Oz Media. You can listen to our shows later on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. If you want to call in, the number is 313-306-1750. Again, 313-306-1750. Feel free to call in, ask any questions you'd like. You have something that you want to ask or talk to them about. I have my phone right here next to me and it's connected, so we'll have you on the phone. Shout out to our sponsors. We got to give a shout out to all of our sponsors as well. Shout out to Adhesives, the Balkan House, Juice Box, Qahwah House, Specialty Medical Center, Hanley International Academy, and Sidr Bees. Ramsey, we're going to start off with the place that serves the best honey around, which is Sidr Bees, and then we're going to officially get the show on the road. So shout out to Osama and everyone over there at Sidr Bees.
All right, Yusuf, it looks like we have a little dilemma in our hands. We have this deliciously smelling sabaya right in front of us, but it looks like we're missing one important thing.
Yeah, it looks like we're missing some asal, some honey.
And you know where the best place to go to for honey? That is Sidr Bees. Sidr Bees is a remarkable company that stands at the forefront of the honey industry. With an unwavering commitment to quality, being authentic, and sustainability, Sidr Bees has carved its name as a trusted provider of premium honey products. The company's dedication to preserving the purity of honey is evident in every jar they produce. Sidr Bees sets a standard that goes beyond taste. It's a brand that captures nature's essence and brings it to the discerning consumers who appreciate the true goodness that honey offers. Sidr Bees is not just a honey company, it's a testament to the beauty of nature and the passion to deliver excellence in every drop.
Gosh, did we talk about that? How it was literally like, oh.
Yeah, we're now there. We're officially back.
I realized right then.
Atia is in the building, so shout out to Atia. Always full of energy, by the way, so we appreciate her. Atia, can you tell us first of all, before we start with the questions? I like to ask people to check in with them. How you been? What's new? How's school? I know that I'm assuming the car marking just ended. Mm-hmm. So what's new with Atia? How was this last car marking for you, and anything else you want to include?
Knowing the semester's finally over, I can sleep and then wake up and go back to sleep and not feel terrible about doing that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Overall, how was your semester? How's classes and everything that school wise?
I'm not gonna lie, it was a rocky road. There were ups and downs, and the ups were really high up, and the lows. You know what? Whatever, we got through them. I remember there were points where I was so tired that literally after class, I'd just take a nap in my car. I wouldn't even bother driving home. And no, but the fruits of our labor really paid off, and I'm proud of us.
Yeah. No. So basically today, first of all, so Atia, Ava, and Dominique and Daniel worked on a documentary about Oz Media. They call it The Wisdom of Oz, even though I don't know how much wisdom there is in there. But they shot a documentary. They kind of came here for a couple shows and interviewed us. So that we said this would be a great time to invite them back. We just watched it on Thursday. Atia just shared it with me as well. So maybe I'm still debating on if we're gonna post it and stuff. We'll see. But I thought it was amazing, and I just want to make sure everyone that's in it is okay with us sharing that as well on social media. But it was really well put together. And Moussa, like I said, you were doing residency in the classroom. Can you tell us how your past semester went, and maybe share anything else that you want to share about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, so I was a filmmaker in residence for the media production class this semester, and my task essentially was to guide the students through the filmmaking process, as well as the process of integrating into the UW community and the UW Dearborn community. And for most of the class, there was only, there were about 15, 16 students, right? Only one of them was UW. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the students never really were from Dearborn. A lot of them were from Livonia or from out of the city, so the idea of them interacting with UWs in a highly concentrated UW area was intimidating for them. And for the right reasons. They had the right intentions. They wanted to make sure they weren't misrepresenting or mischaracterizing the UW community. But I wanted to make sure that this concern didn't turn into a paralyzing fear, because we tend to have that sometimes. We don't want to do the wrong thing. We don't want to do the wrong thing, so we don't do anything. And that's not the right way to go about things. So on the first day, I told them, I said, this is the place where you can make any mistake you want. And I'm a person who you can ask any question to. And from there, we developed a very productive and fruitful relationship. And I really think the fruits of the labor were not just in the projects themselves, but in the students, in their character and in their conduct. And I'm very proud of all of them.
And all the documentaries that were shot was all UW based, like you said, in Dearborn Heights area. So it was definitely very nice to see that. And I know what you're saying, and I love what you said, because that anxiousness can turn into like fear, where you end up not even doing anything. Mm-hmm. And that was, I was very smart of the professor to get you in and to include you to kind of like build that gap and bridge that gap, and to make sure that everything went by smoothly, which it looked like everyone had a great experience with the people that they shot the films with. So Ava, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, just your experience in this last car marking, and anything else you'd like to mention to the audience out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a double major in writing and film, and this semester I would say it was definitely rough, as Atia was mentioning. It was my heaviest course load. I'm trying to graduate on time, in 4 years. So I ended up taking 19 credit hours, which was a lot. And I didn't realize what this class would entail going into it. And so I don't think Atia knew either that we were going to make a whole film in a semester. So that was a big shock, but also a really fun challenge. So the semester was really hectic, but also really fun. Like I feel good about it now. Like we did that.
we did that. And it was always such a joy coming to class. Like I could always count on Moussa to bring in some meat puns. There were so many.
Well, that's it. Hold on. Let's explain that.
We gotta talk about Ronnie.
Ronnie makes another appearance.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We had a guest in the classroom who became a subject of 2 documentaries in our program. And that was Ronnie Berry, and he owns a local halal butcher shop. And he came in to our class and just gave the rundown on his business and his family. And he was a character. He was larger than life in the way he presented himself, and so casually too. He talked about family. He talked about culture. He talked about society, and he talked about love and care and loyalty and respect in such a short amount of time. And from there, we all fell in love with him, and we all fell in love with meat that day as well. So we came up with a bunch of meat puns, talking about this, and that. It's like, oh, that was a very well done job you did there.
Yeah.
Things like that. So at one point, it went on for about 15 minutes, I think. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I thought I was going insane.
The professor had to step in. The professor had to interfere. He was like, "All right, I think we're done now. Let's go back to sanity." Yeah.
He stopped, but after like throwing in a few of his own.
Well, he had to. He had to get a few in there. It's hard not to.
Some people really butchered it.
That's funny. So did you grow up in the Dearborn area? Like, did you live here your whole life?
I was born in Detroit, and we grew up there for a few years, and then we moved to Dearborn because we had to, and then we moved again in Dearborn because we had to. And that's how it goes usually.
Yeah.
Arabs are nomads. That's how I describe it. We move around a lot.
For sure.
I grew up in East Dearborn for most of my life, and I integrate between Dearborn and Detroit and Hamtramck, and I like to circle those areas a lot. I think there's just such rich culture, and there's such a colorful energy there.
Yeah.
Everyone has a lively disposition within them, and it's a beautiful thing to witness. I mean, you could throw a stone in any of those areas, and you'll learn something from somebody.
Yeah, for sure. And then Ava, where did you grow up? And then how was this experience of like kind of learning the whole city of Dearborn in a way, and then knowing that its people and stuff like that? So what area did you grow up in?
Yeah, so I'm from Canton, and I've lived in Canton my whole life. And so I've spent a lot of time around Dearborn and Detroit. Michigan's my home. I love the city of Detroit. So I would say it wasn't like a shock to learn a new city, but I feel like I got to dive in a lot deeper and explore a community that I'm not a part of and like see all the beautiful aspects of it. So it was really cool.
Yeah, how about you, Atia?
So, well, first I was born in Ohio, and my family lived there until like I was 4. Then we moved to Canton, and that's where we've lived all our life. But we frequent Dearborn a lot, Dearborn and Detroit, because when my dad first came to America for Wayne State, he lived a lot in Detroit. And so being a Muslim at Wayne State, you really want to find all the halal spots around. So they would go to basically Dearborn all the time. So we're like so close with the people at Cedarland especially. And I'd consider Dearborn like a second home where like all our halal meat would come from there. Now there's a bunch of halal meat in like Canton too, but we would always come back to Dearborn for like shatida and just shopping, because it's so easy to find everything you need here, like nice abayas, hijabs, and so getting to explore Dearborn even more this semester, it felt like, yeah, I'm coming back home.
Yeah.
Got to know a lot more, and now I'm on a mission to like go to every single coffee shop in Dearborn.
All right. Well, that's awesome. We got a few people. We got a person's username which is Yo Mama. All right. I just want to throw that out there. He put yes. Yup, Atia. He put saying like he's excited. So nice to see students from UMich on your show, said Adam. Is that Adam the professor?
Adam the GOAT.
The GOAT. Shout out to Adam. We appreciate you, man, and honestly, all that you did. And I wish I got a chance to talk to him more on the day of the documentary to kind of pick his brain a little bit more. But thank you for everything that you've done, Adam. I'm sure they would agree with that as well. Your mama said, I'm Atia's biggest fan, by the way. So that's what I'm going to say. And then we have Amber saying, woo, go Atia. So people are tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them away. I'm here. I have the iPad right here with YouTube.
We got the Atia Hive in the chat.
Yeah, right now. They're hype right now. So, Ava, we can start off with you on this one. How was it? How was it shooting a documentary? Take us through it. The best parts, the toughest, the easiest parts, the most rewarding parts, whatever you want to share. So how was the overall experience of shooting a documentary?
It was a process of revision, and it still is. Before the show went live, we were talking about how documentary is never finished. And I feel like even though we've turned in our final project, it's still not finished. There are a million ways that you can shoot a documentary and make it. And I feel like that's what we really learned was like, how are we going to craft this narrative? And there are so many edits we still want to do. There are so many angles to tell that revising in like about a month, we had a month of revision after shooting, was chaotic and a really critical learning experience. So I'd say the entire process was just revision, always going with the flow, facing challenges, learning how to, film a documentary despite all the challenges that we had this semester. But I would say the most rewarding part of it was being able to show it to you guys and hopefully represent you guys well.
And you guys did, for sure. You guys did an awesome job. Especially, like I said, I did a little bit of documentary stuff when I was in college, and it didn't come out like that. I can tell you that right now. So great job on that. Atia, you can share your experience as well with shooting a documentary.
Well, first off, now you have to show us your documentary.
Yeah. I don't even know if I have it. It's a long time ago, like 2010, 2011, 2012.
If you manage to pull out the relic, you want to see it.
All right.
Have it screened at the museum, for sure.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Yeah, I can take each month of the semester and we can define it by different stages of editing. Just pitching our ideas. Oh my gosh, that was an entire thing in its own. We got thrown apart, torn to shreds for our initial ideas, but we finally met you guys, and then we're like, yeah, we have a documentary.
Yeah.
Then in the middle, when we're filming, it was so fun, just seeing the energy here. It was revitalizing for us behind the camera too. And in the last stage of editing, it was just me pouring over the screen with Ava, and we're just staring at Premiere, trying to work our way around all the little glitches that would pop up. I bought a MacBook just for this class so I could get through editing easier. But it was such a rewarding experience. Despite everything, I would do it again. It was a roller coaster and a huge, we learned so much about everybody here. It was a huge rewarding experience, yeah.
And for you, Moussa, this is something that obviously you do as well. You didn't really do anything with their specific documentary, but obviously you shoot documentaries as well. So what would you say, how is the process of shooting a documentary, and what is, maybe some tips out there too for people?
In my experience, I've done documentary work, I've done client work, and I've done fictional work of my own projects, for my own creativity. And I would say that documentary work is the least predictable, I would say, and it requires the most patience because you have very little stock in what the person in front of you is going to do or say or do.
Yeah.
And you have to be very accepting of that. You can only direct the person you're interviewing so much before you start to turn it into your own little play, and that's not what people are. People are people. They're not actors in your play. And I think I witnessed a lot of the students having to deal with the hardest part about making a documentary is not the documentary, it's life around it. It's the fact the shop's closed today. And it's but we're gonna film today. It's yeah, but it's closed. That's what happens. You have to adapt to things that you have very little say in, and then from there, through your adaptation and through your ability to apply yourself to things you haven't anticipated, you then develop skills and you develop a mindset which is set around seeing through the process. Because if you focus so much on the result of it, you just end up stressing yourself out at every which way that might change. Because you have this set vision in your head. So any little change is well, wait a minute, my vision. It's not your vision, it's vision. Mm-hmm. It's vision itself, and we're all participating in it in our own way. Right. So once you recognize that, once you prioritize your ability and the way in which you can refine your ability, then anything that comes is an opportunity. So I would say my advice to anyone is to focus more on the ability to do than the ability to accomplish or succeed or achieve or all these big things, all these big beautiful things that we want to do and we want to have in our lives exist in our ability. They exist in our process to them. Mm. It's you were talking about grades. How was your card marking? I don't know my grades, and I'm not going to check because I did my best.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's a great way of saying it.
So whatever came of it came from my best efforts.
Yeah.
I'm going to accept it. You know, now for the sake of knowing whether or not I need to retake the classes, I'm gonna like
Eventually check.
logistical reasons, yes, but in terms of like my heart and soul and where my like I'm secure
Yeah.
because I did what I did.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. And so, you know, when we're talking about shooting documentaries and you know, organizing, and for people maybe that are out there that are interesting to me, you know, how important it is before even shooting. People think like, hey, just take a camera, go record, good luck. It's coming up with that, like they call it like a shot list, or the list of like where are you going to shoot, who are you going to interview, like how important is that? You know, I see you nodding your head, Ava. Like how important is that to like kind of have that organization before you even go out there? Like, is that the first important thing that you need to do?
Absolutely, it is critical. So for my role on the team, I did a lot of the paper edits. So I would lay out everything on paper before we'd actually go into edits, go into shoots. I wrote a proposal, and our proposal was like this 5-page paper about everything we're going to do for this film. So planning is critical, because otherwise you show up and you're shooting, but you don't really have a purpose for what you're shooting. You don't know what you're looking for, and then you don't know what questions to ask. Every question that I asked you when we were shooting was very purposeful, like specific information that like we want to know for the angle that we wanted to like show of your podcast. And we want to cover taboo topics. Like we thought that was very interesting. And so if we, you know, didn't discuss that beforehand, we might have completely missed that angle.
For sure. For sure. Did you want to add on to that or say anything else about that?
Yeah, so one of the biggest differences I learned during this class is that as opposed to narrative filmmaking, capturing what you see and how things are as is in a documentary is key. And we want to do justice to our subjects. Like, we don't want to misrepresent them in any way. So making sure that the documentary is not about how we envision it going. We want it to be how our subjects or characters, but really how our subjects want the world to see them as. And so just putting that vision into perspective, putting ourselves into that into those shoes, it was quite the directorial experience.
For sure. And I want to hear Yusuf's overall thoughts, but before we do that, after this ad, I want to make sure we run this ad right quick, our next ad of today, and then we're going to get Yusuf's thoughts of how the whole documentary went, because he was there at the showing as well, and want to make sure that he shares his 2 cents on that as well. Let's give a shout out to Specialty Medical Center, Ramsey. Shout out to Specialty Medical Center, which is right there by the museum. Our location is right there by the Arab American Museum. So shout out to Specialty Medical Center, and then we will continue on with this show. We're going to talk a little bit more about college, not so much about documentary. So shout out to Specialty Medical Center.
All right, Yusuf. So you know, the other day I was playing basketball with my friends, doing what I usually do on the court. But as I was driving to the lane, I kind of hurt my knee.
Oh, man, not again.
Yeah, but this time I knew which place to go to that would take care of me the best, and that is Specialty Medical Center. Specialty Medical Center is a medical center that prides itself on patient care and its rehabilitation services. Their primary focus is developing a customized treatment plan unique to each individual patient's needs. Their center offers a full range of patient care, from diagnostic testing, pain management, physical therapy, regenerative medicine solutions, and surgical care. They currently have 2 locations, one in Dearborn and one in Sterling Heights. So if you're looking for a place that treats your medical needs the best, be sure to stop by Specialty Medical Center.
All right, we're officially back, ready to get this show rolling. Just want to read off a couple comments. We'll go Atia. I am Atia's biggest fan. Atia is so beautiful. My hat says hi. Amber Hashmi said that. Meryl and Daryl says they love Atia. Atia, the next Einstein. So Atia...
That's good.
You got it all. That's
You have the best friends.
Yes. All right.
Shout out to
Yusuf.
Merle and Daryl, Kaylee's cats,
Yeah.
all the way in Pennsylvania.
Nice. So we got people from Pennsylvania. You know, again, this is a good time to say, you know, follow us. You know, it'd be great. You know, people always ask, how can we show you support? You know, just follow, subscribe, share, like, you know, those things like that. You know, we go live every Saturdays. This is the Movement Podcast based off, you know, focus on the youth and, you know, younger generations and what they're doing, like college students as well. So this is what we do. We, you know, ironically, first of all, I'm an MSU grad. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't hurt me to say this U of M stuff. You know, it doesn't because I could be the bigger person in situations. But ironically, talking back-to-back weeks. Next week we actually have U of M students from Ann Arbor coming on the show. I know they're on break, so they're going to be talking about their experience. They've had some issues going on at U of M Ann Arbor with the Palestinian. So we actually got 2 people who were actually attacked. In every way possible, online and verbally and whatever you want to include. So they'll be coming on to share their experience. But that next week, Saturday at noon, so same time. Meryl and Daryl on the next podcast. Yes, we will make that happen. We have a cat podcast with them just purring and stuff. Cat videos are popping. Yusuf, talk to me. After watching the documentary yourself, what were your thoughts, some takeaways, and things like that?
Man, first off, going into it, like my imagination of how the outcome would be totally different. It was so well put that usually I think of things that I could do and make up better, but I don't know if I could do better than that because Adobe Pro, as you mentioned before, it is a little stressful, continuously looking at it and working with it. But that documentary was amazing, well put. Thank you guys once again.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
The experience of you guys just filming it, it was a great experience because, as I mentioned, I believe I said it, like, you guys came in with this huge camera. I'm like, yo, what's going on? He barely even mentioned it, but then I walked in, I'm like, what's going on? And you guys are doing a documentary, and I'm like, oh, I'm down, let's do it. And then you guys were very well, respectful. You guys came in on time, did what you had to do, and now you guys are here. Thank you guys for being here once again, and
To be fair, we also didn't know what we were doing with that camera. That was the first time,
Really?
Yeah, the camera was new. The C300 was bought specifically this semester for this class.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it's funny he said that I didn't say anything because I didn't want them to panic. I didn't want them to be different. Just be yourself. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't
have to worry about that from me. But
not from him, but everyone else. Everyone, people gonna start acting different. They were getting shot. You know how it is. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even really send a message to no one. I wanted them to be themselves. I wanted them to come here, and just one more extra cameras in the building now. And so I think that's kind of what you guys kind of got from them as well, and that's kind of what I was hoping.
There was a point early in the documentary. You probably sent it to him already right now, right?
Yeah, I should.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you guys had I don't know if it was a jump cut or something, but you guys were filming outside of Dearborn and had multiple voices in at once.
Mm-hmm.
I love that because it was just a very cool dynamic,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yusuf is he's learning more and more about video and stuff, and so that's why I wanted to hear what he had to say, and he's doing a great job with it too. So it's interesting and funny.
Are you guys first time making this?
Well, this would be my third film
third
ever.
film. Okay.
But it's my first documentary. Yeah.
How about for you?
Yeah, so I'm helping Professor Secular work on a documentary right now, feature length, but this is, I guess, my first full student film. I've done a lot of audio work and a lot of writing work, but film-wise, this is my first completed project.
Awesome. Well, let's keep things rolling. Moussa, now let's talk about college. All right, let's talk about college life. Maybe people out there that are listening and might be younger, might be in high school, and then they're contemplating if they should go to college. So, give us the highs, give us the lows. Tell us, what college life is like.
See, I'm either the best person or the worst person to ask about this.
And that's why we have you here.
Exactly.
You're going to either scare them or you're going to push them in, but whatever, at least you're being honest.
You roll the dice on me. That's good. I was, for the longest time, I considered myself a college dropout. I was like, I'm done. This is it. This is it for me. I'm going to figure things out. And I was for a while. I was doing freelance work. But here's the thing. College will open doors for you. But you can open your door. You can open those doors yourself, but you're going to have to really work towards those doors if you're not going to go to college. That's the reality of it. It will, you will get opportunities through college. You can get those opportunities the same way without college, but you're going to have to take a lot more steps. That's the most honest answer I can give. I just went back to college last semester. After traveling, I did some soul searching. I went to Umrah, and I was like, and alhamdulillah, when you look at yourself on such a deep, reflective, and vulnerable time in your life, all these other things that have been looming over your head are so much smaller.
Yeah.
You go, all right, time to reprioritize. What am I so worried about? So I was like, I told my mom, I said, I went up to my mom and I said, I'm going to say something. I don't want a response. I just want you to hear me. This is all I want. And my mother, she's such a wonderful human being. She's like, she nodded her head.
She was ready.
She's ready because we're talking about years of her trying to convince me to go back.
Yeah.
And she understood why I wasn't going. She understood why I wasn't going back. But she was still trying to and every time she tried to encourage me, I'd get even more and more resistant to it.
Yeah.
Until she finally stopped. One day, I just came to her. I said, I'm going to say something to you. I just want you to hear me. That's all I want. She nodded her head. I said, I'm going back to college, and I need your help financially.
Yeah.
Because the freelance work, that's the thing about being freelance is like it's another word for being unemployed. Like you're employed so long as you decide to be employed.
Yeah.
So if you're a hustler, then you're making money. If you're like a quiet, methodical person like me, you bide your time. That's how I am. If you look at my portfolio, it's pretty sparse because I choose my projects I choose my projects and my clients selectively. So in between those projects, I'm working on X, Y, and Z that you're never going to see because that's just the work to make sure I'm eating, and I have a wonderful support system because of that. So not everyone gets to have that. Not everyone gets to have those privileges as like a supportive family or a supportive community or people who want to see you pursue your passions. So college is an opportunity to work in fields that you may not have been able to otherwise, but it's not a silver bullet for your life's issues. It's not something that's going to solve your sense of like feeling like you don't, like if you're looking for purpose, you might find it somewhere within studying, but it's not guaranteed through college. It's through your own self-reflection. It's through your own self-application. Now, whether that's inside of college or outside of college is up to you, and of course, bi'idhnillah. So that's the most honest answer I can give about that.
I love it. Ava, I'm gonna pass it on to you. Where are you at in your like college life too? Like, you can say what grade you're in or and then also how has your experience have been and any advice or recommendations or anything like that about college life?
Yeah, so I'm a senior, and kind of going off what Moussa said, I think self-reflection is more critical than college. College obviously is important, and it's not the only path, but it definitely does open doors, and if it's a good route to take depending on where you want to go in life. But without self-reflection, no matter what path you take, you're probably not going to be on the right one because you don't know where you're going. And so I guess throughout my time in college, I've tried to look at my life holistically. I went into college undecided, and my entire freshman year, I had no idea what I wanted to major in. And because I look at my life holistically and I look at my passions and, I look at the short time I've been blessed with on this earth. And I decided, what do I really want to do with my time? And that's what I majored in. So I would say that college or not, have self-reflection in everything you do because it will guide you on the right path. And I guess that's the advice I would give too, that if you're entering college, think this is an opportunity. You have 4 years to really hone in on a skill. Think about what you really want to do.
Yeah, for sure. And over time you'll know it, but you don't want to wait too long. But at the same time, you don't want to rush. So it's like a balance of like really knowing what you want to do. Atia, same question for you. How has your experience been like in college?
So I agree about you should never rush your studies. That's something I was trying to do initially. And if everything had gone according to plan, I would have graduated this semester. But during the pandemic and like with quarantine, I kind of fell behind in like classes and stuff, and so I'd like cut the workload in half for myself, and so because of that I have at least like another year under my belt before I graduate. And at first I felt kind of bad about that. I was like, oh, all of my friends graduate on time, getting jobs. I mean that's subjective, but everybody is moving on and I'm still here in school. But I started to look at that as a positive thing, in a more positive light, where I'm here for a reason, and so is everybody else. And this is a great place for me to meet more people who are like-minded individuals and who also have similar goals and dreams. And I'm so glad that everybody I've met on this journey, like, I don't think life would not be the same with everybody here. And I appreciate my time as a student, and I'm going to continue to elevate that. And I remember when I was a freshman here, like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get all my gen eds in first. Like, I'm going to do everything. I'm going to be really structured about it. And then, yeah, you can't really control the circumstances that get put on you. So things got turned around a bit for me. And I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm going to go straight into journalism. Because that's what I wanted to do from the very beginning, is some sort of, like, media journalism, like, fluid multimedia thing. And so at first I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure everything I do here, I'm really proud of. And so a lot of the times in college, it becomes like, okay, I did it. I finally did it. And later on, I'm going to come back to these films that I made and then work on them even more, refine them. And that's what college is really about, is just getting those skills in and then working on them for years to come.
And going off of that, I want to ask you guys too. This question is basically like, I know you guys maybe somewhat touched on it, but maybe focusing on it is, what would you say is the most difficult part about college? Like the most, number one on the top of your head, what would be the most difficult part about college and finishing, your degree?
For me, it's deadlines. I hate deadlines so much. I'm always begging my professors for some sort of like extension. Well, that's just me personally. I know a lot of people are really on top of it.
How about you, Moussa? What would you say?
I would say balance. I have a tendency to, if I really want to, my math teacher back when I was in high school, this guy loved me. He was amazing. We'll have that one amazing teacher who like believes in you.
Yeah.
He was talking to my parents and he's like, listen, when Moussa applies himself to something, he's like a tank. But if a few things pop up, that's he shuts down. So it's like I have this tendency to jump into the fire. But if I'm not really satisfied with what this fire has given me, I'm like, well, I guess I'll just burn. It's like, but no, you have to keep walking. You have to commit to the decisions you make. And I remember one time I was working on this project, this film, and I was dealing with like funding issues, and my confidence and my self-esteem was just plummeting. Because when you have something you want to do, but then you got to worry about money. It's
yeah.
Like, if I could, I'd just do it. But money's a thing. I remember I was sitting there feeling very low about myself. And my mom was just like, again, subhanAllah, the mother, that's a backbone in our lives. She's like, listen, always finish what you started. And I remember she just like picked me up essentially. I was ready to give up on myself, and she's like, no, that's not going to happen to my son.
Yeah.
So alhamdulillah, it's always about balancing how you apply yourself, balancing when you apply yourself, how far you apply yourself, and making sure you understand that rest is productive when it's needed.
For sure.
It really is.
I agree with you 100%. I think people, like you said, balance. People got to find that balance in life, because people are so, and you know what it is because we are so attached to maybe like social media or something, and so we see all this things going on, and you might be like, oh man, I'm behind.
Exactly.
I'm behind. But man, when I tell people like I'm busy, sometimes it's because I'm just relaxing at home.
Exactly.
And I need it. I know I need it.
It takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
It takes a lot of work to just sit down and not do anything.
For sure. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm terrible at that. I'm terrible at just sitting down, not doing anything.
Immigrant mentality. You gotta do something.
Yeah. I always say that. Like literally, even like when I was a teacher in the summers, like I couldn't just be at home. I couldn't.
It reminds me of what Atia was saying. Like if things went according to plan, I would have graduated. If things went according to plan for me, I would have graduated 6 years ago. But the thing is like you have to understand, it's like whose plan? Right? Is it your plan? Is it your parents' plan? Is it society's plan? Is it social media's plan? Is it, whatever business is trying to sell you something, their plan?
Yeah.
Because Imam Ali says that the sign of a true believer is that he has more confidence in what rests in God's hands than his own.
That's how it should be.
Quran says we plan, but he plans.
Yeah.
He's the best of planners.
Exactly.
So you have to recognize when to let go of something and go, you know what, this is above me. I have to just let this wave carry me for a second. Even if that wave is made of flames, which I have to really give a shout out to Ava and Atia. They really went through trial by fire, especially during the pitch, during the pitches.
Was our pitch pushed back or no? Or was it like one
You
that?
guys saved us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had 4 pitches, and the first 3 were flamed
Yeah.
in front of the whole class.
3 different filmmakers came us and told us why this wouldn't work. We're like, oh.
One just said they don't like it, and that's all the feedback we got. So
In front of the whole class.
yeah, they just said we don't like this.
Yeah, I'm
And-
probably looking at them like,
like why? Like
Yeah.
please tell me why.
I remember almost after every session, like I would talk to them and like I would explain to them why they received the feedback they got, because like there's only so much. I have the context of like dealing with that already. Like I've had my work ripped apart, 10 times over. You start to get calloused. You're like, you get a thick skin. A lot of these students, this is their first time. Some of them are not even studying media production. They're like studying marketing or some other thing, and they're just sitting there like, oh, I have this idea. I want to film like a family, and they're like, what's your purpose? It's like, then I used to getting hit with those types of questions from artists.
Yeah.
So I really just have to give a shout out to both of these students because they endured some of the most harshest criticisms, and through that they developed one of the most impressive projects from there.
yeah, for sure they did a great job. And Ava, I want to ask you the same question of, what would you say is the most difficult part about college and getting that degree, and pursuing the degree and hopefully getting it.
I would also have to say balance. Balance is so hard in college, and I'm awful at it. I do not balance. It's really hard to not make school your whole life. Like, it really could be. There's always more you can do. There are always deadlines coming up. There are always projects you could work on. And I think because I chose my majors out of passion, there are always things I can write, things I can film, things I can produce. Like, the world is full of stories, and I want to tell them all. And I have very finite resources and time. And so that, like, ambition to, like, do everything, I struggle to realize I'll have to sacrifice myself and my own time to try to do everything, and I can't do everything. And so trying to be balanced and selective with what I do and with my time is something I'm learning.
I love it. I love balance. I think that's a great way, and also meeting deadlines. I mean, that's what college is all about. Is you got to meet your deadlines. You got to have balance in life. That's for sure. Shout out. We're gonna give one more shout out to our sponsor, Hanley International Academy. We're moving into the last third of this show. We're gonna also have a questions games where it's gonna be guys versus ladies in this questions game. So it should be fun. A little bit of fun of recapping what it is that we just discussed. So shout out to Hanley International Academy, Ramsey, and then we're going to continue on with the show right after.
Yusuf, you seem like a pretty smart man. What elementary/middle school did you get promoted from?
The one and only Hanley International Academy.
Hanley International Academy is a school that treats every student and staff like their own family. It's even in their vision statement, educating your child like our own. Their location is 2400 Denton Street, Hamtramck, Michigan. Their phone number is 313-875-8888. The academics there are great. The athletics there are great. Thank you to the staff and administrators at Hanley for educating our leaders of tomorrow.
All right, we're officially back. Stan Luna is excited that we might have Meryl and Daryl on the show, by the way. Tia Hive, what's good? So I want to make sure that Tia Hive is ready. All right, so we're going to, I guess, I know we kind of just said like the most difficult part, but if there was some kind of, finite advice you'd want to give to someone who's interested in going to college, like what would it be? Like, what would you tell them? Like, to encourage them, by the way, like what would you wrap it up by telling them? Maybe we can start off with you, Ati. I don't think we've started off with you for a while now. What would you tell them?
I have to think about this because there's a lot I wish I could have told myself going into college. I think the most important part is do not compare yourself to everybody else's path because you're starting a new chapter and they're maybe on chapter 5. And it's just not fair to yourself if you're looking at, they're at this point and I'm not, because that's something even now I struggle with. I have to be proud of how far I've come and where I'm going. And as long as I focus on myself, staying in my lane, I'm going to get there eventually, inshallah. Yeah.
I love that. Moussa, same thing to you. Like, what would you tell someone who's interested in going to college? Like, what advice would you give them?
I would say with any significant life choice, do it because you believe it's the right choice, not the only choice. Because then you'll be doing it out of passion instead of desperation.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, we're gonna give you all a round of applause. Ava, you got pressure right now, though. You gotta make sure you deliver something.
I was going to say something similar, which is do what you love. One of the greatest pieces of advice I ever got was do what you love and the money will follow. If you follow your passion, you're probably going to put all the work into it.
Is that Alan Watts?
Maybe. I don't. I
okay.
heard it. I heard it from a mentor of mine.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
And you know, I kind of believe that if you're passionate about something, you'll put the work in, and the money will come with that work, and you'll love what you do.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're gonna give them a round of applause, Big Rams. We appreciate them. That was some great advice for people out there. It might be. I might make that the clip for the show, by the way, and post that later. Get everybody's answer within a minute. So with that said, all right, this is the part of the game where we do the questions game. Yes, so get ready. All right, this is that time. You got a buzzer right there. Maybe if you want to like fix it straight and stuff.
You can have that one.
Yeah.
Yusuf, you got to be competitive here.
I
Yeah.
got you.
Yeah, you gotta be ready. All right. So with that said, the questions game. This is what we do. Okay. So I ask questions. It's about documentary. I know in the thing that I sent you guys it was college life, but I end up choosing documentary. So it's all about documentary, shooting a documentary, and everything else in between. It's 3 questions, best out of 3. We got 2 teams. We got Team Atia and Ava versus Team Moussa and Yusuf.
Team Shabab, let's go.
Team Shabab.
Let's
All
go.
right. So Yusuf takes it serious. So this is why I come up with these rules. All right. Yusuf be yelling at me every single week.
I was laughing. Yusuf's like,
Yeah, he don't play around,
It's
man.
not a joke.
You guys don't know. I get text messages later. By the way, I hit the buzzer first. You know what I'm saying?
Look in the video after on YouTube.
Yeah, he'll text or he'll send me the screenshot. He'll send me
the tape back.
Yeah, I'm
Bring
like,
up
man,
the
like, what do you want me to do? Give you guys the win now? Like, text it later. So
contest.
no, but all jokes aside, I guess just let me finish the question. I know. Yeah, I know. These are the rules. These are the rules. You know what I'm saying? The question got to be done. If you get it wrong, you get a minus point. You get it right, you get a point. My advice, don't hit the buzzer if you don't know the answer, because if you hit the buzzer, you have to say the answer.
And he's not repeating the question.
There you go. These all came from arguments in the past.
That's a crazy rule.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, not repeating the question.
Because we had a situation where I repeated it one time. They said it's not fair that you
Oh, because
repeated
if
it
you
one
hit the buzzer,
time.
you know the answer. You can't just hit it.
Very competitive family.
I want to know. I want to know after the show. You gotta tell me the lore of this.
Yeah, because I love how you said, please let me finish the question.
Yeah.
I gotta know the history.
I've told you I've been getting attacked for this. So if you guys are ready, let's get it going. Number 1. All right. When you shoot a documentary, you should start off by organizing a what list?
Shot list.
Shot list is correct. Go ahead and give Atia a
Burn that
round of
into your head,
applause.
guys. Shot list. You're nothing without it.
Nothing without it. 1-0. The ladies are in the lead right now.
Nice, Dave. Step it up, I guess.
But you know what? I always like it when it's 1-1 going into the third question. So I'm kind of hoping that they get this right. Because if it's 2-0, you guys already won the game. That last question is pointless. But number 2. All right, here we go. All right, this is one that we didn't really discuss, but I'm going to help you out. So please let me finish towards the end, okay? So it says, when shooting a documentary, you should write a what? And it starts with the letter S. Hold on, he got it.
Was it script?
Script is correct. Round of applause. Yusuf was not. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say script.
For real?
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
I almost said shot list again, so
Yeah,
I would have
I
been
know.
wrong anyway.
Yeah, script is correct. You want to write a script. If I'm
I was
correct.
also gonna say storyboard too, because that's another one too.
Yeah.
Not wrong
Storyboard
either.
helps a lot.
Storyboard is
yeah.
also great, especially for
But to
documentary.
storyboard, you need a script. So
Can you explain quickly what are both? Storyboard
So
and
a script is essentially the story that you're telling.
Yeah.
A storyboard is a play-by-play of how those scenes are going to look.
okay.
It's like actual drawings or animations even, and some sort of visual aid to decide how you want your shots to look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're usually like stick figures, at least for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and then once you go into the higher tier, then you see essentially you go into 3D animation for every shot, especially these high budget projects. The storyboarding is such a I've storyboarded for the smallest projects, and it took it to the next level.
Nice. Both essential, or all of them are essential.
I believe so.
There you go. There you go. All right. So 1-1 tie. This is where it's fun. Ava's just chilling there right now. By the way, she's just there for
I'm
the.
letting Atia carry the.
Yeah. Number 3. Here we go. This is very easy. You just blank your videos. I'm sorry. You should blank your videos before publishing it. It starts with the letter E.
Edit.
Edit your videos. Told
Good
you guys
advice.
it was easy. You guys easy. I know.
Every word that starts with the E was going through my head. I was
The
like,
problem is we know too many things.
Yeah.
Like
Export?
export, establish. What is it?
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Y'all would
panel.
put me in a bad situation then. I would be like, I mean, I guess it's not wrong, you know, but I'm happy he said edit. So there you go. The Shabab got the victory. You want to give him a round of applause right now. Yusuf definitely keeps count. Where y'all at now, Yusuf?
We're up by like 30, but
By 30? Yeah,
Let's go,
because-
Shabab. Let's go.
we've been doing this now for like 3 years. So, I mean, he's probably right. All right. So, listen, first of all, thank you all for coming today. You know, we're going to end this with weekend motivation. I know you guys gave advice about college. This advice part does not have to be about college. It could be about anything in life. You could be giving personal advice. You could be giving advice to whoever category you want to shoot for. So kind of get that ready as I kind of let people know. Again, be sure to follow us on all of our socials. You have YouTube, Oz Media, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok under Oz Media. You can listen to the show later. As soon as the show ends, I'll be uploading it on Apple and Spotify podcasts under Oz Media. Future reference, anyone wants to call in, like I said, we have 3 different shows. This one's for the youth, we have one for the community, and one sports show. The number is 313-306-1750. Again, 313-306-1750. Be sure to call in, and future reference, if you ever want to call in. Again, give a shout out to the sponsors as well. We appreciate them and all their support. Balkan House, you know, Juice Box, Qahwah House, BC Adhesives, Specialty Medical Center, Hanley International Academy, and Sidr Bees. Thank you to those people for their support. Thank you to all 3 of you for, you know, coming on. I can't wait to rewatch the documentary and kind of see, you know how you watch it one time and now second time you kind of pick up on more things the second time around. So definitely want to watch it and see how that goes. I just hate seeing myself. I know it's weird. It's like I barely watch shows. Like I barely watch the shows. I mean, I only watch if like something happened and I want to make sure how I can fix it. Other than that, like, you know,
I
it's
totally
just weird.
understand. I hate hearing and seeing myself
Yeah.
on screen.
Hearing my voice. Nope.
Yeah. You know, I was just sitting there. I was like, oh, this is weird. But, you know, I'm happy that we were able to support you guys. And, you know, as students and someone that was in that position before, I completely understand how it is. And so, you know, having that support of someone, you know, trying to make it easier for you, I felt like I was in that situation where I could have been that person. So I'm happy I was able to do that.
Thank you so much for just like guiding us through everything, like just being so helpful. Like you were our rock. This entire show is our rock.
No, for sure. Thank you. Like I said, I really do appreciate it.
real quick, you mentioned that you'd do it again, right?
Uh-huh.
So outside of school, would you?
Absolutely.
So you'd get your camera and everything and do it?
Do you have a camera?
Not anymore. I have to
I have a
invest in a new
camera.
one. Okay,
There you
there we
go.
go.
There we go.
We have a camera.
We'll make it happen, inshallah.
Let's go.
Great, yeah.
I want to talk to you guys about something after the show. Run something by you guys. Just
Inshallah.
run it by you, inshallah, just to hear your thoughts. You know, want to hear how y'all feel about a certain situation. So, with that said, weekend motivation time. All right. Who wants to go first? You know, I don't want to put nobody on the spot right now if you're not ready.
I've been first for a bit.
Okay.
So.
Ava?
I can go first.
Yes, there we go. So we're gonna have Ava give us some weekend. I call it a weekend because it's Saturday, but hopefully this motivation goes past the weekend and goes for the rest of their lives. So anybody that's watching, give us some motivation, Ava.
Motivation. Be kind. It costs you nothing to be kind, and I believe kindness comes back around. So if you're kind, you'll get kindness. So yeah, be kind.
I love that. I love that. Go ahead and give that a round of applause. We're gonna give each of you one round of applause. Moussa, we're gonna go from then to you. What's your weekend motivation?
I would say that the 3 most important practices in life are trust, patience, and forgiveness. Trust in what is going to come, patience in what you're going through, and forgiveness of what has already come. Because you're always where you need to be.
I love that. I love that. You always are where you need to be. So that's another great line. And then Atia, can you give us some weekend motivation?
This is also just a reminder for myself, especially just go easy on yourself. Everything that's going to happen will happen. Don't worry beyond that. Just go with the flow, go through the motions, do your best, and leave the rest up to Allah.
Ahsantum.
Love it. You know, we couldn't have asked for a better group of students here. You know, like I said, the goal for this specific show was to have, when I say younger generation, I'm talking like high school, college people. And so to me, thank you for coming on. You know, you guys are only helping us, you know, execute kind of like the vision that we've always had. And if there's ever people that you think would be great for the show, I know my sister is telling me that you had another idea, which I love. We could talk about that too after the show. Like these are the kind of things that this is the goal. Like we call ourselves community-based journalism. We wanted to produce stories for people who are from the community, who are in the community, doing great things in the community. And this is it's great how these relationships work. Where y'all did something, and I was like, we have to get you guys on the show again. We have to do that, make that happen. And it just happened to work out right after you guys showed the documentary. So it's awesome. Any final words and final comments that you guys want to share?
Yeah, I want to thank you. I want to thank you and your family for everything you've done for us to make this documentary. It obviously wouldn't be possible without you guys, and thank you for asking us onto your show. Like, this has been awesome.
For sure. Thank you. I appreciate it. Moussa, any final words and final comments?
I'm just grateful. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah
For everything and nothing.
Alhamdulillah. There you go. I love that. Atia?
It's been such an honor being on. Like, I get to say I was on a podcast. That's mind-boggling.
What's the best part is you get a chance to watch it, and it'll forever be there. And the what is it? The Atia Hive.
Atia Hive.
Let's go Atia High. Let's go.
No, for sure. No, seriously. Like, I think that's the best part. Like, that's why I always try to get people on the shows. Like, even when family members that visit, I'm like, we gotta have a show. Like, let's come up with a topic, just because they don't know. Like, I'm doing this for future's sake. Like, when is the next time I might ever see these people? 5 years down the line, we might rewatch it and laugh.
Can I say that what you're doing is so important for the culture, especially as Arabs, in a time where the way that Arabs are being presented is so damaging for us. What you are doing is humanizing the Arab individual, the Arab family, the Arab community, and the Arab world. And I'm just so grateful to you and your family's efforts in that.
I appreciate it, brother. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much for everything. I appreciate it. Yusuf, any final words and final comments you want to say?
Man, I learned a lot from every one of you guys, the way that you guys were speaking. And once again, as I mentioned before, thank you guys so much for coming on. Still very pleased on the outcome of the documentary. And we'll speak after, about the ideas that we have.
It's funny. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought you guys were going to do a great job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just thought you guys executed really well. Like, watching it confirmed it. I don't know why. Like, I did not have any doubt in my mind that you guys would. I mean, I don't know if that's like a good or bad thing, but I really did it. Well, like I mean, the way, because I just seen how you guys were working, and y'all look like y'all know what y'all are doing.
That's why it was so surprising, seeing that was your first time using that camera, or something.
Can I say that every time that after their pitches were heavily criticized, the only thing I wasn't worried about a good job that they would do. I was only worried about them losing hope in their ability to do it. So all I did was look, I'm so excited about where you're going with this. Every time they'd get oh, well, what about this? What about that? And they'd be like, oh, okay, I guess we'll have to start over now. I'm like, great, because whatever you start on is going to be fantastic, inshallah. So I'm so glad that we got to have this team, and I'm so glad that we have to have you guys as subjects.
Well, we're glad as well. Thank you all that watched and tuned in. We hope that you learned a few things out of this whole show, especially if you were interested in A, going to college, or B, shooting a documentary. They kind of gave you at least the groundwork and the foundation of both of those things. Thank you all again for watching. Next week, we'll be back with some more University of Michigan students. So we're looking forward to that conversation as well. This was season 3, episode 13 of The Movement.
The Movement.
The Movement.
Wait,
the movement.
so it's 313.
Which one?
Motivate me through
Yeah, so we have 3 shows.
Yeah.
We have Osmi. Osmi is like
You
them.
said this is season 3, episode 13.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
313.
wait.
Let's go.
There you go.
Let's go.
Okay, great point.
Subhanallah.
Subhanallah. Yeah, y'all representing, huh? Definitely representing.
Detroit is playing today too.
Let's
Lions.
go. Hey,
And they're wearing
Angel
the blue.
numbers.
this is Tawfiq.
Take the Lions are winning this game, inshallah.
Subhanallah.
Inshallah. This is funny. We could go back. We could rewind this too if they do win. If they don't win, then we're gonna just take it as what it is.
Funnel, everything just comes together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah.
We appreciate the blue. You know what I'm saying? That's no coincidence.
Like-
this is at
This
this
was
point.
Everything
definitely
meant to
planned.
happen. Yes.
Innaha mashiat Allah.
Exactly. I mean, but with that said, we hope that you enjoyed the show. We'll see you all next week, and be safe and enjoy the weekend.